Hi all, my name is Abani. Today I'll show a demo on accessing a EJB3 session bin from a WebLogic remote server. We'll deploy our EJB in a WebLogic 10.3 remote server and access them in my local machines. To do the demo, I have a virtual machine where I have installed Oracle Linux and I have my WebLogic server. The WebLogic server version is 10.3.5, which is a EJB 3.0 compliant server. So this server will act as a remote server for me, and I'll deploy my EJB in this server in this WebLogic server, and I'll deploy it here, and I will access the same in my local machines. Even if I have a local WebLogic server, but for this demo we'll deploy the EJB in my remote server. So to get started, just start the remote server. So I have a domain created. I'll just double click in my virtual machine so that the remote server will be started. Now let's get back to the Eclipse workshop. I have Eclipse Indigo. To create a project, right click, new EJB project. Now in the dialog you can select the project name, the EJB module versions. So for us it's 3.0, and the runtime is target runtime is our WebLogic 11GR1, that is 10.3.5. Now just give a name, say WL EJB. Now just click on next. As we know about the session bin and all are declarative mode, so this EJB jar is optional. Let's don't create as of now because we have to create a simple session bin. So click on finish. Now the project is created in my workshop. Expand it, you can see a EJB module there. So all your classes will reside here. So right click here to have a new session bin, just click new, and we have something called session bin, or else you can create a simple class and annotate the class with session bin. So let's get started with the session bin here. Click on the session bin option, and we'll say com.ejb.hello, and let's say hello and there is something called remote and local. If your EJB will be accessed through a remote machine or local machine, depending on that, you have to create the interfaces. And if your EJB resides in your same application, then you don't have to have you don't have to create any interface. But in our case, I'll deploy this EJB on my remote machine. So to access that, I need a remote interface. So I'll click on this remote. I'll just uncheck local. Automatically, by the syntax, it will take the remote. It will create a remote interface automatically. Now let's say click on next and finish. So you can see that now go back to your project structure, and you can just expand your EJB module node. You can see in the project structure two classes has one class and one interface has been created. Open that interface also. So it says remote. That means this interface will act as an interface for this hello EJB. Now there is something called in stateless annotations we have something called mapped name. So this is nothing but the JNDA name for your EJB. As per the EJB 3.0 standard, whatever map name is given in your stateless annotations, that will be treated as your JNDA name. But while during the implementation, WebLogic and other servers have a different way of implementation. WebLogic, when deploying this EJB, it will give a different name, different JNDA name to this EJB. Which standard is follows, I'll show you while we'll deploy this EJB. Now to get started, just give any name, say EJB/hello, save it, and this is a default constructor. We don't want to create anything. Now let's say We'll have a method here in interface. Pass a name, save it. Now you got the warning unimplemented method. Add unimplemented method. Let's see how do. We'll say hello. Let's return hello name and from WebLogic. Now just save it. This is the simplest example of your stateless EJB in WebLogic servers. Now to get started, we have to export this EJB and export the jar file as an EJB project. And again, similarly, if you want to access this, then we need a stuff file for the EJB. I'll tell you that what is the stuff file we have to create. First of all, let's export this web project as an EJB jar, and let's deploy it in our WebLogic server. So to export it, just right click export EJB jar file. In the menu, select EJB jar file, click on next. Destination, any place you can create. So let's give it the name is WLEJB, and just have a note of the location where it is located. Now click on finish. Now come back to your virtual machine, your Oracle Linux server, where I have started my WebLogic server. The WebLogic server is in running mode. Now I'll go to the console, server console from my local machine, and I'll deploy that EJB. So to get started, I'll just go on to the console of my remote server. My remote IP is this 192.168.1.0.7.001/console. Console is nothing but the server console of WebLogic 10. So we'll wait for the console to be started. So we'll just log in. Now this is the default home screen of your WebLogic server console. Now to deploy application is pretty easy. Go to the deployments. Now click on install. Now say you have to choose the path where you want to deploy it. Your files. Say choose file. I'll choose the file, and the location is here where I kept my EJB. Browse to the location where you have exported your EJB project. Click on open. This is open. Now click on next. Now click on next. This shows the path. Click on next. Now install this deployment as an application. We don't want this application as a library. Click on next. Now the target server is our admin server, default admin server. Now after I click on finish, we'll just switch back to the console to see the deployment things. Okay, now you can see the deployment order. You have EJBs, and the project name is whatever I given. Inside that, it has found the EJB module, and the EJB name is hello EJB. And you can go here. You can just see it's running. Okay, Now I'll go back to the server console. So it says okay, this is deployed EJB application override. It is deployed the EJB application. Now our EJB is deployed and is running on a remote server. Now to access that, what we need, the stuff files, the client jars. Stuff file is nothing but your remote interface, and if you have any composite objects, say you have a person class or any object is there in the return type. For our case, it is normal string, so we don't have to worry on that. But if the return type for this is a composite object, then we have to export that class and this remote interface is a jar file. Those files will be called as a client jars. So to get started, just right click on the same project, then you export Java jar file, click on next, and just choose the remote interface. Don't choose any other classes. Then in that file, I'll say WL client. Where you want to export the jar file, click on next. So just have a note on your client jar exported path, so that will add in our client projects. This jar should be added to your client projects. Click on next, click on finish. Jar is created now. Let's create a client project. Click new Java project here, click on next, say WL client, click on next. Libraries, in the libraries we should add the jar file. So here I exported the client jar. Click on open, finish. Now just go to the client, create a class, say now say package test, main method, click on finish. Now you have to do something you have to do here. The several steps are, first you have to connect to the remote server. There are some APIs, and after connecting you have to look up for the JNDA name. You have to search the EJB in the server, then call the EJB. So to do that, how do you connect? WebLogic connects. WebLogic has a feature called your JNDA lookup. It does through your T3 protocol. You have to provide a T3 URL for your WebLogic server and on which port it runs. For our case, it's T3 : the host name : 7001. 7001 is our port number. So that information if you provide, and if your WebLogic needs authentication, you have to provide the credentials. After providing that, you create a initial context of it, and after getting the initial context, you search the EJBs through your JNDA name. So to do that, let's get started with it. I have copied the property files, the properties which are required to create an initial lookup. I'll just create it. As I told you, this is the main class. This is called the WebLogic initial context factory, and in the properties we have to set this. The factory initial is your initial factory. The provider URL through which you will connect to the WebLogic server is T3, and the host number we have to change, say 192.168.101, and the principal, the user ID, password, because your WebLogic needs a authentication. So this is the basic information required to connect to a WebLogic server. Now after that, you have to create an initial context. You pass the property object whatever we have created, so that this will create an connection through to the remote WebLogic server. You got it. Then the next part is your lookup. How to look up the remote EJB. Now, as we know, this hello EJB remote is my remote interface. So create an instance of this interface. So the lookup name, I'll tell you how WebLogic looks into the WebLogic lookup name. So let's say hello EJB, will create an instance of it. So ctx dot lookup through some name, and we'll just type as is to your hello EJB remote. Just surround with try and catch. Now this is the important part when you invoke your EJB, which is deployed in different servers. Different servers have their own implementation of providing the JNDI name to the EJBs. So I'll tell you, just will draft something, say string call result equal to hello EJB dot say hello. My name I'll say Anthony. Then so I'll just print the call result. Now, what is the JNDI name for our EJB? Now, if you open our EJB session bin, the map name is EJB colon EJB slash hello. So WebLogic has a definite way of providing the JNDI name. The way is, it takes the JNDI map name, whatever is given in the declaration of your stateless EJB, then hash, then the full package structure of your EJB remote, and the EJB class, fully qualified your remote class. So that's the when you try to invoke this JNDI, then it look for a EJB named by like this. Okay, this is the normal way of your WebLogic implementation. So it takes the JNDI name, whatever being provided in session bin, then your fully qualified package name of the remote interface. So just run it. Click on Java application, so it will run. After that, so class not found exception is coming, so we have to add WebLogic client jars. So to invoke a WebLogic related service, we have to add the WebLogic jar. So I have a WebLogic installation in my machine, so I'll pick the WebLogic jar from there. Now again let's run it. So you got the message. it says call result is hello Abani from WebLogic. So if you see our pin, then it says hello name and from WebLogic. So that's what is being called. If you want to test it also, you can have any log statement, and that should come over here. So that also can be done. So after this, you want to test it again, you provide some other name. So you provide some other name, again run that. So it takes a bit time to connect to our remote server and fetches the information. Now you can see this call result hello class fish 3 from WebLogic. So this is the simplest example of accessing a EJB deployed on WebLogic 10G 11G server or a EJB 3.0 compliant server, and accessing that same thing from a remote machine. Thank you all.